The Fortune Cookie Maker, One Fortune Could Change Everything, by David Russo. Chapter 1. The First Crack. Every fortune starts in silence, waiting to be found. They say the fortune cookie maker lives behind a door that only appears when you've stopped looking for one. It's not labeled. There's no neon sign or carved symbol. Just a plain wooden frame, worn down at the edges, like it's been waiting for you for a long time. Most people pass it without a second glance. But one day, on a day that felt like all the others, as someone stopped. He wasn't looking for anything. Not exactly. He had no plan, no map, no real reason to turn down that alley. He'd just been walking. The way you do when you don't want to go home, but you don't know where else to go, and then, there it was. A door. Quiet. Unassuming. Inside, the room was small and warm. Shelves lined with glass jars. A counter. And behind it, the fortune cookie maker. No words were exchanged. Just eye contact, as steady and knowing. The kind of look that makes you feel like someone's been expecting you, even if they don't say so. The maker reached into a drawer and handed him a single fortune cookie. That was it. No explanation. No questions. Just a nod. The man turned it over in his hand. "You want me to eat this?" he asked. The maker didn't answer. Just watched, so he cracked it open. The paper inside read, "Start where the light leaks in." The man squinted at it. What does that even mean? But the fortune cookie maker had already turned away, back to the dough, or the fire, or whatever comes next after you've handed someone exactly what they didn't know they needed. Some beginnings are loud. A breakup. A job offer. A diagnosis. A plane ticket. But most, they're subtle. Almost invisible. They start with a sentence that lingers longer than it should, or a question you can't stop thinking about, or the feeling of just a flicker that the life you're living isn't the one you're meant to be in. The first crack is never comfortable, but it's necessary. Even the hardest shell breaks somewhere. That's where the light gets in. That's where you begin. Here are your fortunes. Start where the light leaks in. You don't have to know the ending to begin. The door you're waiting for might already be open. Even the smallest yes begins a journey. Not ready is still ready enough. Chapter 2. Crumbs of Truth. Not every fortune is sweet, but all of them are honest. She showed up angry, not in a loud way. Not with yelling or slammed doors. It was quieter than that. She sat stiffly across the counter, arms folded. No greeting. No small talk. Just a face that said, "Get this over with." The fortune cookie maker nodded once and reached for the drawer. He set a single cookie in front of her. She stared at it. "That's it?" she asked. He said nothing. She let out a breath, a sharp, impatient. "I don't even believe in this kind of thing. Fortune cookies. Paper advice from a stranger." Still, she picked it up. Turned it over once. Cracked it open. Inside, the fortune read, "Avoiding the mirror doesn't change the reflection." Her face changed, just slightly. A flinch, then a hard blink. As if she'd been punched softly, right in the truth. "What is that supposed to mean?" she asked, eyes narrowing. The maker said nothing. She scoffed. "You think I'm avoiding something? You don't even know me." She crumpled the paper in her fist. "Do you think I haven't been trying? That I haven't done everything to change things? To fix myself? I don't need some cookie telling me to look in the mirror." Silence. He didn't argue. He didn't explain. Just stood behind the counter like he always did, steady, unmoved. She opened her hand. Looked at the crumpled fortune again. After a while, she whispered, "It's just, sometimes I don't know who I'm looking at anymore." This time, she didn't wait for an answer. She stood up, tucked the paper into her coat pocket, and left. The fortune cookie maker watched the door close behind her. He reached for the broom. Sometimes all you can do is sweep up the crumbs and wait for someone to come back when they're ready. Some truths feel like salt in a wound. Not because they're cruel, but because they're honest. And honesty can sting when you've spent a long time hiding. We all carry mirrors. Most of us keep them turned around. We say we want clarity. But clarity demands confrontation, and not everyone's ready for that. Especially when the hardest person to face is yourself. But healing doesn't begin when things are perfect. It begins the moment you stop lying to yourself, even if all you can say is, "This hurts." That's enough. That's the crack where truth gets in. Here are your fortunes. Avoiding the mirror doesn't change the reflection. The lesson you resist is the one you need. Honesty and pain often ride in the same car. Not wanting to hear it doesn't make it untrue. When the truth finally comes, don't punish it for arriving late. Chapter 3. Awakened by flame. Growth demands friction. Let it sting. He didn't take a seat. Instead, he walked, pacing in slow, tight loops near the counter. Fingers tangled in his hair. Talking to no one in particular. Holding back tears and losing. The fortune cookie maker said nothing. Just watched. Present. Still, I don't even know why I'm here, the man said at last. I don't need wisdom. I need a rewind button. The maker remained unmoved. I detonated everything, he muttered. Left my job. Snapped at my boss. Torched the bridge, lit a second match for good measure, and danced in what was left. Now there's nothing. No plan. No backup. Just fury and regret. And you, he gestured around the room, baking poetic advice into sugar and flour. Still, silence then, without a word, the maker reached beneath the counter and placed a single cookie in front of him. The man eyed it like it might bite. What is this supposed to do? He asked. Tell me it'll all work out. That destruction is destiny? The maker didn't answer. He simply nodded at the cookie, with a sigh. The man cracked it open. He read the slip aloud. Change doesn't knock. It kicks the door in. He stared at it. Then gave a dry, half-sane laugh. I had it good, he said. Not great, but comfortable. Predictable. I figured that was enough. His voice dropped. Now I'm just burned. Charred inside. Nothing left but smoke and shame. For the first time, the maker spoke. 5 quiet words. Temples rise from ruined stone. The man said nothing, but something shifted barely. His shoulders eased. His jaw unclenched. Maybe, for the first time, he wondered if the fire wasn't just destruction. Maybe it was also making room. Transformation doesn't always feel like triumph. More often, it feels like collapse. A shattering. An ending. But fire doesn't only destroy. It clarifies. It consumes what's false and spares what's real. Sometimes, the wreckage is what saves you. You don't have to be grateful for it, but you may need it, because fire cannot take what's truly yours, only what was never meant to stay. Your new fortunes, only what's true endures the flame. Change doesn't knock. It kicks the door in. Collapse is often chapter 1. Ashes are not the end. The fire reveals who you are. Chapter 4. The Broken Ones. Even fragments carry truth. She arrived with a cookie cradled in her palms like it was a confession. It came broken, she said. Cracked to bits. Pointless. The fortune cookie maker glanced at the pieces, then at her. He didn't look surprised. Or worried. Just knowing, everything I try falls apart, she went on. Jobs, people, plans. I give it my all, and still snap. Gone. Always slipping away. She laid the shattered cookie on the counter, not with anger, but the quiet despair of someone who's asked herself the same question too many times. Is it me? He motioned toward the shards. Did you read it? She shook her head. It's broken. Probably fell out. He gently turned one jagged piece, and there it was, still there. Still waiting. He handed her the fortune. She unfolded the paper with cautious fingers and read, You are not the mistake. You are the one who stood back up. Her lip quivered. She looked away, but the words had already landed. I feel like I'm always restarting, she whispered. Always wrecked. People say be resilient, but what they mean is, get it together and don't bother us. I'm exhausted. The maker nodded, then offered, maybe you're not starting over. Maybe you're just starting. From here. She blinked. That's different. He nodded again. Exactly. She looked at the broken cookie again. Then, slowly, she picked it up. Not because it was fixed, but because now, it mattered. We're taught to fear brokenness, taught that cracks mean failure. That damage disqualifies us. That only whole things have worth, but cracks are proof you made it this far. That something tried to break you, and didn't quite succeed. You're still here. Still reaching for meaning, still willing to look inside, even when it hurts. There's no shame in breaking, only in pretending you never did. Your new fortunes, you are not the mistake. You are the one who stood back up. Broken isn't ruined. It's just open. You don't have to restart. You can start from here. Cracks are where the light listens. Failure might just be a comma, not the end. Chapter 5. Whispers in Rice Paper. The quietest fortunes often speak the loudest. He was the kind of person who talked to fill silence. Words spilled out of him like steam. Fast, hot, and distracting. I've read a lot of books, he said, pacing in front of the counter. Listened to the podcasts. Done the workshops. Self-awareness? Check. Goal setting? Check. I even tried one of those silent retreats. I left halfway through. Couldn't stand the quiet. The fortune cookie maker said nothing. Of course he didn't. The man kept talking. You know what I think? People just want certainty. Not truth. Certainty. That's why they come here, right? Hoping some cookie will tell them what to do next. Still no reply. He laughed nervous. Maybe. Well, I'm not here for advice. Just curious. Everyone in town keeps saying you're some kind of, I don't know, oracle in an apron. The maker simply placed a single cookie on the counter. The man hesitated. He picked it up like it was fragile, or maybe like it might say something he didn't want to read. He cracked it open and unfolded the fortune. He read it once silently. Then again, out loud. You already know. You just haven't admitted it yet. He froze. The silence in the room grew louder. After a long pause, he looked up. Eyes suddenly glassy. I was going to leave, he whispered. My job. My partner. My whole life, really. I packed a bag this morning. But I told myself I hadn't decided yet. He laughed again, quieter this time. Guess I already did, huh? The fortune cookie maker didn't answer. He didn't need to. Sometimes truth doesn't arrive in bold letters or grand declarations. Sometimes it was there all along, soft, persistent, patient, just waiting to be heard. We tend to overlook the quiet truths. They don't fight for our attention. They whisper from corners, from the back of our mind, from the space between our distractions. But just because something speaks softly doesn't mean it isn't screaming inside us. We know more than we think. We've known longer than we're willing to admit. The real work isn't finding the answer. It's learning to trust that we've already heard it. Here are your fortunes. You already know. You just haven't admitted it yet. Trust the whisper that doesn't need to shout. You don't need more advice. You need more stillness. The answers that matter rarely interrupt you. If it keeps returning, it's trying to be heard. Chapter 6. The ones we leave behind. Not every message lands where it's meant to, not right away. She returned a quieter this time. No needling questions. No frustration. Not even a hint of expectation. Just a single piece of paper, pinched gently between her fingers. She placed it on the counter without a sound. The fortune cookie maker didn't need to look. He recognized it instantly, the softened folds, the frayed edges. A fortune he'd handed her many months ago. Touched often. Forgotten. Revisited, she spoke, her voice low, edged with something close to regret. I threw it out the first time. He nodded, not surprised. I didn't understand it, she continued. It felt empty. Too general. Like one of those things meant to sound wise without saying much. She let out a small, sheepish laugh. But even after I tossed it, it stuck with me. Like a song I couldn't shake. He said nothing. He never rushed understanding. He let silence do what words sometimes can't. I found it again last week, she said. Tucked under some old receipts. I almost threw it away again. A pause, but this time I saw it differently. Like it hadn't changed, but I had. Like it had been waiting for me to finally meet it where it was. She glanced up. Do fortunes change? The maker shook his head once. His voice calm, certain. No. But we do. She folded the paper again, more gently now. Like it meant something this time. She slipped it into her coat pocket, not to lose, but to keep. I think I'm finally ready to understand it. He slid a fresh cookie toward her. She smiled. Maybe I'm ready for what's next. Some truths don't arrive on time. We miss them. Misread them. Or dismiss them before they've had the chance to grow. That doesn't make them wrong, just premature. Wisdom doesn't shout. It waits. It circles back when life has reshaped you enough to receive it. Some words take root slowly. Some meanings only surface when you've cracked open wide enough to hold them. So don't rush to discard what doesn't make sense yet. It might not be for now, but it may be exactly what you need later. Your fortunes, you didn't need it then. You see it now. Not understood doesn't mean untrue. It wasn't wasted on just waiting. The fortune stayed the same. You grew into it. When the heart is ready, the words return. Chapter 7, Fortune or Warning. Sometimes a fortune is just a fork in the road. He walked in carrying a question, didn't say hello, didn't look around, just leaned across the counter and asked, "Am I making a mistake?" The fortune cookie maker said nothing. "I need more than a shrug," the man said. "I need a sign. Something. Anything. Just tell me if I'm about to ruin my life." The maker held his gaze for a moment, then placed a single cookie on the counter. "No offense," the man said, picking it up, "but you could at least act like you're taking this seriously." He cracked the cookie open, read the fortune, froze. "This isn't a sign, it's a spotlight. Step in." He stared at the paper. "Okay, what does that mean?" he asked. "Is that a yes? A no? Am I stepping into something good, or stepping off a cliff?" No response. The man laughed, but there was no humor in it. "I asked her to marry me," he said suddenly. "That's what this is about. I proposed, and now I'm panicking. I haven't told anyone. Not even her. I'm just stuck. One part of me says this is right. The other part screaming that I'm about to disappear." The maker quietly poured a small cup of tea and set it beside the cookie's crumbs. The man didn't touch it. "People always talk about signs," he said, "as if they'll tell you what to do. But what if they don't mean anything? What if it's all just reflection? Whatever you want to see, you'll see." He looked back at the fortune. "This isn't a sign, it's a spotlight. Step in. I guess that's the point," he muttered. "The spotlight isn't the answer. It just puts you on the stage. Makes you visible. You still have to decide what to say." The maker nodded a subtle, approving. After a long pause, the man folded the paper and placed it in his pocket. "I'll let her know tonight," he said. "Whatever I choose, it'll be a choice." And then he left the tea untouched, but something in him more settled. We want signs, clear ones, loud ones, arrows pointing the way, but life rarely offers them. What it gives instead are moments, gut feelings, tiny forks in the road that feel bigger than they look. And it's easy to ask, is this fate, or am I just scared? But here's the truth, a fortune won't make the choice for you. It will only hold up a light. You still have to step forward. Here are your fortunes. This isn't a sign, it's a spotlight. Step in. Not choosing is still a choice. A path isn't wrong just because you're afraid of it. If you're waiting for certainty, you'll wait forever. Some answers only appear after you move. Chapter 8, Meant for Another. You're about to read a fortune that wasn't written for you. Read it anyway. It still knows something you don't. She entered quietly, a crumpled cookie in one hand and unease in the other. "This isn't right," she said, settling onto the stool at the counter, uncertain. The fortune maker watched her, silent. She opened the slip of paper like it might bite. "This doesn't belong to me," she murmured. "It's too pointed," she read aloud. "You're holding a story that was never yours to carry." She looked up, brows drawn, like maybe he could explain it. "I don't know whose story it is," she said, "but it's been with me for weeks. It's heavy. It lingers, still." The maker said nothing. She leaned closer, her voice dropping like a confession. "I've been stepping in and patching what's broken, picking up pieces that aren't mine. Trying to be the glue in other people's chaos." She gave a small, tired laugh. "But maybe not every broken thing needs me. Maybe not every story needs my hands." The fortune maker finally spoke, words soft and sure. "Sometimes the right message finds the wrong hands." She hesitated, but maybe the wrong hands still need the message. She folded the paper, slower this time, with care. Slipped it into her pocket like something sacred. "Maybe it's not about who the fortune was meant for," she said. "Maybe it's about who's listening when it shows up." She smiled, not quite certain, but lighter. "Maybe I was supposed to hear it. After all, it's strange the truths that shape us often arrive in disguise, sometimes through someone else's grief, sometimes in a story we were never meant to carry. Empathy can be a gift or a weight. When we mistake compassion for ownership, we sink. Not every pain belongs to you. Not every burden is yours to fix, but that doesn't mean the lesson won't reach you, because sometimes what was meant for another still has something to teach you. Your fortunes today, you're holding a story that was never yours to carry. Their lesson might be the one that frees you. Not every weight belongs on your shoulders. Sometimes the wrong fortune arrives right on time. Empathy builds bridges, not prisons. Chapter 9. The one that finds you. You don't find your fortune. It finds you. The woman walked in slowly, almost hesitantly. She didn't say much. Just nodded toward the counter where a single cookie sat waiting. The fortune cookie maker looked up, meeting her eyes. "You've been here before," he said softly. She nodded again, this time with a faint smile. "I kept coming back," she said. "Trying to find the one that would change everything. The one that would tell me what to do." The maker said nothing. Instead, he slid the cookie toward her. She picked it up, feeling its weight in her hand. Slowly, she cracked it open. Her eyes widened as she read. "You are exactly where the shift begins." She looked up, breath caught. "I wasn't looking for this one," she whispered. "It just found me." The maker smiled gently. "Fortunes don't work like treasure hunts. You don't chase them. They come when you're ready." She folded the paper carefully and held it close. "I thought I had to have all the answers before the change could start. But maybe the change is what brings the answers." The maker nodded, eyes soft with knowing. "You are exactly where the shift begins," he repeated. "Not before. Not after. Right here. Right now." The woman breathed deeply, a sense of calm settling over her. "I think I'm ready," she said, and in that quiet moment, the future didn't seem so uncertain anymore. Sometimes, the fortunes we search for most desperately aren't waiting in some distant place or hidden inside a perfect moment. They find us, they catch us in the middle of the mess. They arrive when our hearts have opened enough to receive them. You don't choose your fortune, it chooses you. Here are your fortunes. You are exactly where the shift begins. This one's yours. You'll know, readiness is the key that unlocks the message. The fortune finds the open heart, not the closed mind. Change begins not with knowing, but with willingness. Chapter 10. You are the maker. The greatest fortune is the one you write yourself. The fortune cookie maker sat quietly behind his counter. A young woman approached, eyes bright but uncertain. "Do you think," she began softly, "that fortunes actually change anything? Or are they just words we cling to when we don't know what else to do?" The maker looked up, his gaze steady. "Fortunes don't hold the answers," he said. "They're reminders. Prompts. Sparks." She frowned slightly. "But if they don't have the answers, then who does?" He smiled, a small, knowing smile. "You do." She blinked. "The cookie doesn't hold the answer," he continued. "You do." She reached out and picked up a fresh cookie from the tray. "Then what's the point of all this?" she asked. "The point," he said, "is that you're the one folding the paper. You're the one cracking the cookie. You're the one who decides what the message means. The fortune is only as powerful as the maker who reads it." She turned the cookie over in her hands, thoughtful. "Maybe," she said, "the greatest fortune isn't what's inside the cookie." "No," he said softly. "It's what you choose to do with it." She smiled, eyes shining. "So, I'm the maker." "Exactly. Your hands are ink. What story will you write?" She looked out the window, as if seeing the world anew. "The cookie is just the beginning." The maker nodded. "You're the story. You're the fortune. You're the maker. Every fortune cookie is a chance, a blank page waiting for your hand. The words inside are gentle nudges, little sparks meant to awaken something inside you. But the real power lies in the choices you make, in the stories you tell yourself, in the way you write your own fortune, day by day, moment by moment. You are not just the reader of fortunes, you are the maker, the author, the one who shapes the story yet to come. Here are your final fortunes. Your hands are ink. What story will you write? The cookie doesn't hold the answer. You do. You are the maker of your own fortune. Every crack is a new beginning. Write boldly. The future is waiting. Thank you for journeying with the fortune cookie maker. May your story be one of courage, kindness, and unexpected wisdom. And remember, the greatest fortune is always yours to create. Thank you for journeying with the fortune cookie maker. May your story be one of courage, kindness, and unexpected wisdom. And remember, the greatest fortune is always yours to create.